G'day, me again, continuing on with the build of the 2021 single cab Land Cruiser 79 series. I've already done videos on installing the Provent can and the pre-line filter. I'll also put a video up on drilling this bracket and putting rivet nuts on for this. I looked at several different locations. Some of them meant drilling into the actual Land Cruiser, which I don't like to do, and some included making some brackets up to mount it here, but it sits happily there. It is acceptable to mount them on an angle if they're under the bonnet, and it gives easy access to joining the hoses. If we go straight down, you run into brake lines and cabling, etc. So for those of you who are watching the pre-line filter install, I've been saying that I've left the nuts and bolts loose to this bracket. The reason for that is that I've now drilled this bracket with three holes for 3 rivet nuts. So I can put this bracket on there and then bolt the diff breather in. I don't know whether you can see here, but those blue tubes go up behind the flashing on the firewall, and they popped out just underneath the brake booster. It was only a fluke, I just poked them and eventually they came out, so now I've put a pull wire through as well to pull the other ones through when I do the front. But basically I've given enough slack there for a bit of chassis flex. Tied them off there, a bit of protection before they go into the chassis rail, and then I've managed to pull them out here just in front of the fuel tank cross member and just beside the fuel tank. So what I'm planning on doing is looping this around for the fuel tank breather. So I've just had a nipple made up. Which I've pushed some rubber hose on, and then a push connector on the other end, and I'll fit that on there before I push the hose in. So from factory the breather looks like that. What you can do is you can pop the filter out of this plastic bracket. You can pop the plastic bracket off there and you can cut the end off. Just cut the end off. That exposes a nipple. And that will allow this fitting that I had made up. So push fitting one end, a nipple on the other end, and a piece of rubber hose. That'll push over the top, and then allow the diff breather kit line or the air line to push in. With the diff breather, the actual diff lock has a tiny little breather as well. It's actually that little line there is the diff lock breather, and then that's the actual diff breather. I've unscrewed the factory nipple and screwed the pushing fitting in. So this is how we ended up with the fuel breather into the chassis, bit of protection, and the diff breather. I've done a loop, a sliding loop. I've put a bit of protection there so this can slide through as the diff goes up and down. When the new diff and the lift kit and that goes in, I might shorten that up a little bit, but we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully this is all right across the top. If it's not, easy fixed. And then I've just cable tied that into position down to the diff lock breather. So just try and show you the front diff. Just use the right angle one on the front, unscrew out the factory one and screw in the right angle on the air fitting. I just run basically caught up with the brake line and ran all the way around the brake line and up to where I've put a T-piece in, and that's got a tail section plugged into the breather from the diff lock with that extra bit of tube that I pinched from the back diff lock. And yeah, so just a T-piece there, and then runs up into the engine bay. I've also run behind the flashing on the firewall, I ran 2 more lines up, and all I've done with them, I've curled them up here, ready for when they drop the gearbox out, to put the when they put the clutch in it for me. So that completes the install. I've got the 5 ports hooked up there, so I've got 2 running to the gearbox, ready for when they drop the gearbox out, as I said. Not sure if it needs 2, but they're there, and if it doesn't need 2, then I can pull one back anyway, and rerun that to the winch when I put it on. It's sitting over there in the box. So at the moment I've got 5 of the 6 ports connected up. If the gearbox does need 2, I'll just put the 6th port in there for the winch. Other than that, I'll give you a quick rundown when I install the bull bar and winch, etc. And it's going on a truck to Toowoomba tomorrow. So when it gets back from there, I'll give you a rundown on all the mods that it got in Toowoomba, which is a GVM upgrade, 35-inch wheels on 17-inch rims, twin 4-inch exhausts, different airbox, different snorkel, 4-inch stainless intake, and the twin thermo fans. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope it helped if you ever decide to fit a diff breather kit.